Hello, hello. Let's try that again. How are we all doing today? Today is round 4 of the Swiss. We have Professor Render and DoctorBobtastic.
Yeah, I was told that this race was an exciting one to watch, so stick around. I have not been spoiled of it, so I'm very, very excited to commentate it this morning. I am Malmo. This is Lance joining me in the commentary booth. We are restreamed by Kippy on twitch.tv Go Mode Podcast.
Not all the academics, indeed. This race has already concluded, but we're gonna all enjoy it for the first time together, so that's gonna be exciting. We're gonna have at least Render, I'm not sure about Bobtastic, in chat to talk about what was going through their head at the time, so you guys get to enjoy that. And we may also have the mentors. I see Orange. We might see OtherTom as well.
All right. So looks like we're off. Both runners starting at different locations. We've got Dr. Bobtastic starting at Sanctuary and Professor Renderer starting at Link's house. He's got a palette shuffle around too, which is a little bit brave for this mode.
Yeah, even me just doing like normal stuff like Ice Palace Bomb Jump with palette shuffle changes, that messed me up. So good luck to you, Renderer.
So Renderer has decided to skip the item on Hylia Island, and he's going to be heading to Sahasrala's Closet. Very common play in modes where you start with boots. If you weren't aware, the runners are starting both with boots and a sword, helping immensely with these glitches that they'll be performing throughout the seed. Dr. Bobtastic is making his way counterclockwise through the Lost Woods. He's going to check the lumberjack tree first, and then he's going to loop around, decide whether to go to the mountain or Kakariko from there. Just a heart piece.
Oh, we got a mirror lying around in the woods. And also, Renderer came up with a fire rod in Sahasrala's closet, so he's packing some heat in there.
Yeah, Renderer is following close on Bob's tail. He's now doing bonk rocks. He's probably going to be heading the same direction. Depending on knowing Orange as a mentor, he might actually go clockwise instead of counterclockwise. We'll see. He is going counterclockwise. I like counterclockwise personally. I think it routes more smoothly with that lumberjack check. Dr. Bobtastic is doing a Death Mountain ascent. He's doing a little clip here that wraps him around the screen, getting him to the top of Light World Bumper Ledge that he can use to jump down to the Old Man Cave without needing a glove.
We don't need no stinking lamp, not where we're going.
It's very rare to do the old man with a glove in this, or with the glove or with the lamp in this mode. You often go here so early. We've got all red, 2 red crystals and a red pendant. The thing with the red crystals is having that mirror in hand, we don't actually need them to get into the Pyramid Fairy. There's a clip you can do. Yeah, it's common to die on Death Mountain. Those dead rocks on 3 hearts. No matter how good you are, they can just get in your way sometimes.
Fortunately, the old man is one of the few respawn zones, because the game knew you were going to die up there.
When you die at the old man, if you've already picked him up, you just respawn in his cave and you can try again. So it's not the biggest time loss. Professor Renderer is diverging. He's going to Kakariko instead of the mountain. Probably less likely to die once he's on the mountain, but the danger of going to Kak first is you orphan locations by not having things like the glove or the bottle for Sick Kid. He had to pick up a bomb at the Bonk Rocks north of Kakariko just to be able to open this crack wall here, whereas DoctorBobtastic can pick up bombs before going to Kakariko by doing other checks.
Literacy! Also looks like he didn't need a bonk for those bombs because he found some hanging out down there. But always better safe than sorry.
All right, DoctorBobtastic is going to grind down this rail here, and he's going to try to get to Graveyard Ledge. Graveyard Ledge is directly below here on the map. With a series of particular inputs, he can just drop right down, land on that plateau, and drop in. He gets his first bombs here. It's not so much about the item, but it's about the bombs when you go here this early, because you want those 3 bombs for Kakariko or wherever else you might be going. Yeah, as Orange in chat points out, the Sphere one is so big that Kakariko is not necessarily the item dense location it normally is, which means that there's actually more likely to be bombs there than there are in like open mode. Okay, DoctorBobtastic has kind of screwed up his camera by doing that Death Mountain descent, which allows him to get into Houlihan by dropping into this hole. The game doesn't know where to put you, so it puts you in this room instead. Full of rupees, you exit at Link's house. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Has DoctorBobtastic gone to Link's house yet?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, he just walked right past the item in Link's house. We'll see how long it takes him to get there. I've seen some pretty late Link's houses in this mode just because of that Houlihan play. Makes you think you've done Link's house when you haven't. You usually save and quit there eventually, but it can be quite a surprise when you've just cleared Ice Palace, save and quit to Link's house, and that chest is still closed.
Alright, Dr. Bob's going for his fire rod here. Is Renderer headed for Cave 45?
Render is going to Desert first. He's going to hit up Desert Ledge. He's probably going to loop through Desert Palace, clear what's inside. He has a fire source, but he doesn't have a glove, so if he decides to fight Lamulus, he'll have to do that last, because he won't be able to exit. So Render, I believe, tried to do a down teleport there, but you actually have to teleport up. It's a little bit unintuitive. There you go. So that's a bow. Very good. Yeah, with Eastern being a crystal, he'll just be able to go in there. With that fire rod in hand, it might even be in logic to fight the boss. DoctorBobtastic is clipped up to Tower of Hera. Once again, wrapping his screen, so he's at the top of the screen now. Instead of going inside, he has dropped down to the portal. He's going down the mountain further without correcting his camera. What's happening here is his map position is moving down more and more each time he does this, so that when he places his mirror portal, it goes to Hyrule Castle, because that's where the map thinks he is. So now he's going to correct his camera so that he can either descend or death warp to get back to Link's house without losing that portal. He's going to take some dead rock hits. Just like you save the portal at Turtle Rock by death warping, you can save it here. Warp back to Link's house, walk to Hyrule Castle, and enter that portal. And that portal is placed in such a way that he'll be able to clip inside Pyramid Fairy without getting those red crystals. Although in this seed, the red crystals are actually just accessible, which is kind of funny.
That's a fascinating series of movements for Dr. Bob there.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole kind of... It's crazy how people come up with this stuff. Like, recognize that because you can misplace a portal, here's all the weird little places you can put it that will help you out. There's only a couple things you do in randomizer with the misplaced portal, but there's actually a speedrun technique where you can get the early smith that way as well. So DoctorBobtastic is doing what I want to say is one of the earliest uncle checks I've ever seen in Overworld Glitches. 8 minutes. It can go quite a long time. It can go up to like an hour or more before you even go here, because normally you wait to have a mirror so you can do that route together. Meanwhile, Professor Render is doing these kind of desert overworld checks, which actually include Cave 45 and the shovel, because he can just clip right across and Cave 45 is right here.
Yeah, if you didn't quite catch that, that was Couch Cash on Ether Tablet. And Dr. Bob ended up with a new shirt from his uncle.
And Render found a hook shot in Cave 45. He's going to jump down to check that shovel, and then he's going to choose whether to go back up. I believe he hasn't done a Gina's Cave yet, so he'll definitely be going there. And then he'll choose to go to Lammo's as well. I missed whether Lammo has an item or not. If Lammo doesn't have an item, it's not really worth doing it now. It's also a pendant.
Oh, second sword in escape in the first chest of escape.
Why is it always the escape? One of the biggest trolls in Overworld Glitches Rando is to put nice things in the escape, but then never give you the mirror. So you just put it off forever, and you're really sad when you find the mirror there. So Professor Render is setting up a downwards teleport to get back up here. If you don't know how a teleport works, if you're on a certain pixel inside of the wall, the game tries to kick you out, but the math gets kind of weird, so it kicks you out way too far.
Using the game's ability to try to kick you out of the geometry against itself.
All right, chat is asking what sprites we're seeing today. We got Hat Kid on Renderer's side from A Hat in Time, and then on DoctorBobtastic's time, we have Vivian from Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. DoctorBobtastic is heading to the back of Escape. He actually has a key, so he can go all the way to the back, not have to worry about finding that glove later. This is quite some divergence in the early game. However, neither runner has found a Moon Pearl yet, so it's quite possible that everybody does these checks, just in different orders.
Got Ether in the dam.
Now, the thing about that mirror is one of 2 items that gives you Dark World access without the Moon Pearl. The other one is the mitts. It's very limited Dark World access. There's a few locations where you can clip down from the mountain with the mirror and do a mirror super bunny, which is in logic. You can do that in Skull Woods with a bunny revival. So you die as a bunny and you revive as Link because you're in a dungeon. The game doesn't expect you to die in a dungeon as a bunny. So if we run out of these kind of nice no glitches Sphere 1 checks, we might be headed into the Dark World without a Moon Pearl today.
So how much is I noticed that Dr. Bob's bunny sprite is incredibly small.
Oh, it's a puny. It's not important because the clipping you do as a bunny is not about your pixel position. You're not clipping 1 frame at a time. That's not something we do in this mode unless we are crazy and want to. He's actually just gonna put his mirror down, move 1 frame and then put his mirror down again. Doesn't really require any visual cues. You just mash yourself against the wall.
Okay, so that clipping is a bit more generous than...
Well, and the thing is that for most of us don't use the sprite for clipping. We use the shadow. The shadow is consistent across all sprites. There are some sprites that cover the shadow, but the shadow is still there. So as long as you know your specific sprite, you'll be okay. We have some pretty exotic sprites in this tournament that people have learned clipping cues on. If you tune in tomorrow, we might even get to see one of them. It's a very minty ice rod cave. It's wintergreen flavored. Okay, Professor Render has dashed near the pit exiting Ice Rod Cave. He has set up a water walk. He's going to use that water walk to check either Hobo or Zora. Given the money in his wallet, probably going to Zora. I also think he already... No, he didn't do Hobo yet. He went to Saha. Yeah, this is Zora. There's a flute. The flute is... I would say it's a luxury item. You never need the flute in Overworld Glitches. Everywhere that you would normally flute to, you can just clip to instead.
Getting it this early, you might actually see some use.
Yeah, and we have the mirror, so if we're at Village VODcast, we could just mirror there and activate it if we remember to. The flute can also be a rather dangerous item because it can kind of break up your routing a little bit if you're used to doing glitch routing and you're saying, okay, I'm going to walk here, then walk here, then walk here. Having the flute can kind of throw you for a loop. Another way that it's dangerous is it causes you to save and quit less when you have the flute and mirror. So if you hard lock, you lose more progress than you would if you had just been saving and quitting the whole time.
Looks like Render is off to activate that right now. And we got Dr. Bob cleaning up in Kakariko, retracing Render's steps.
So Professor Render activating his flute actually makes a ton of sense here because he hasn't been to the mountain yet. So he gets to avoid the Death Mountain Ascent clip.
It looks like Render didn't miss anything of value not having a bottle for Sick Kid on his first trip.
And plus, yeah, Professor Render does get to check Sick Kid as well. Not have to worry about that location. Having the flute makes these fetch quests a lot easier to turn in.
And he just found that out for himself. Yeah, you called it. Just right up to the mountain.
Yep. I call that the duck DMA. Oh, DoctorBobtastic also trying to down teleport there. It's tempting because you're going down, but the down teleport doesn't actually work. You have to teleport up, which puts you on that ledge up there, and then you jump down from that ledge. I am wondering how Professor Render is still on 3 hearts after doing all of these checks. So Render has not successfully done the Graveyard Ledge clip. He's going to try again. Perhaps go up the mountain instead. If I was him, I would actually not do this now unless he's going to King's Tomb. Oh, he is going to King's Tomb. Good. Okay, so King's Tomb is something you can do kind of with the same clip, but you go upwards by 1 frame. And then you dash off, and that puts you on the rock in such a way that you can lift the rock without the mitts, because the game thinks you're lifting a bush instead. Graveyard Ledge can be done separately with Pyramid Fairy. So Render hasn't done Pyramid Fairy yet. And one of the ways you can get back to Link's house, other than Death Warping, is to clip down to Pyramid Fairy or clip down to Graveyard Ledge, get that Houlihan back to Link's house. Yeah, we're seeing some really good use of this flute here, getting out of soft lock situations, getting back to the mountain quickly. Render has decided to leave King's Tomb, flute back to the mountain to go back to Hera. He has the hook shot. He can get inside Hera, and he can actually climb it without doing the tile room if he wants to. We'll see if it's required or not soon enough. All right, we've got a fire-locked Hera. He has said, nope, I'm not going up there just yet. I'm very curious why. I guess it's the Fighter Sword 3-Heart Moldorm, which is a little bit scary. Moldorm is not an easy boss. Magic Powder on Ether Tablet. We got almost simultaneous tablet checks from our runners. Render has chosen to get this boomerang here. He actually wants to be on the third bump. I think he's probably getting instruction from Orange, decided he doesn't actually want the boomerang that badly, and has gone down to Spectacle Rock Cave. Yeah, so this is not a no major glitches race. This is overworld glitches. We are allowed to use any glitch in the overworld except for a couple that you probably don't know about anyway. Most of these are out of bounds glitches. So you'll just see people climbing mountains, climbing rocks, and so on. There's a couple more involving screen transitions that that kind of just displace you in some weird way. For example, a mirror wrap can move you over an extra half a screen, getting you places you can't normally go. But they're all some form of out of bounds. Professor Render is going to climb across the mountain. He's going to clip up to this slope here. He's going to wiggle his way across, get onto this little land bridge that you can use to cross the mountain. The land bridge is something that's actually just in the vanilla game. We're not really sure why it's there. It seems to just be kind of a visual divider because the clouds had to end somewhere. All right, DoctorBobtastic making his way into Eastern Palace from Sahasrala's closet. I'm assuming he's checked Link's house by now. Render throws the signposts on the bridge. Traditionally, in a non-tournament race, he likes to read the sign just to show us what's on it. It actually lists the tournament winners. The sign was added by the Rando developers. It's one of 3 signs in the game that show tournament winners. As you can imagine, this one shows Overworld Glitches tournament runners. This is our 3rd Overworld Glitches tournament overall. There was one in 2019 and one in 2018. Oh, it's just a little scary. These Moldorms do a whole heart of damage. I think they're actually only going to do a half heart on Blue Mail, though, so he's fine. Canis Samaria in Paradox Cave. Another bow, so we got silver arrows now. Yeah, those mini Moldorms can be mean. If your intention is to save and quit out, you can just ignore them, but they will bother you while you're trying to open chests, so you might want to dispatch them anyway. Eastern Palace so far not coming up with any good progression, just a bottle on the big chest. Professor Render appears to be making the play into Pyramid Fairy now. He has climbed the mountain, not corrected his camera. Checked his Dark World map. I believe this might be our first Dark World map check. We have a green pendant at Pod and a blue pendant at Swamp Palace. Still no Moon Pearl. We have already done so much of the overworld. We're already diving our dungeons. One notable exception is Tower of Hera. That is a dungeon that we haven't found any items in yet and have the ability to full clear. We're just looking for a little bit more safety before we climb it and try to fight Moldorm. So, as I predicted, Render is using Graveyard Ledge. Render. Okay. I may have missed him checking Graveyard Ledge earlier, but I just saw him drop down and not actually go inside of it. Because there's still an item in there, I believe. Yeah, that was probably a muscle memory moment. Orange confirms that Render meant to do Graveyard Ledge, but just dropped down instead. Normally, if your normal route is to do Graveyard Ledge very early, you can easily forget that you haven't done it yet. Very focused on Pyramid Fairy. I've seen people just straight up skip the escape too. Go to Pyramid Fairy and then save and quit out. Like, wait, nope, there's still the uncle to check. No, Espion, it was not auto walk thing. It was just muscle memory. He landed on Graveyard Ledge and just didn't enter it. I usually do Pyramid first, Orange. Because what I do is I do Pyramid Fairy, and then I mirror near Uncle. If I want to get the item on the ledge, I'll just mirror at the ledge, drop down into Uncle. But if there's nothing good on the ledge, I'll mirror on the stairs. I don't think it really matters unless you have plans to do something afterwards. So if your plan is to go to the Dark World after, like let's say you already have the Moon Pearl and you want to go to Pod next, then you want to do Pyramid Fairy last so that you're not mirroring an extra time. But in this case, we don't have a Moon Pearl yet. And we don't really know where we're going next. We're probably just saving and quitting out of whatever we do last. And then, of course, you always have the mirror doing this. So there's no advantage to not having to mirror out of a dungeon or whatever. So it's equivalent. Yeah, you do Uncle before Escape, but don't do I don't think it matters whether you do Escape or Pyramid Fairy first. Alright, so DoctorBobtastic is not going to hairpot. I think he probably came to the conclusion that there might be 2 items up there. He doesn't want to orphan one of them. And he's still looking for Moon Pearl. Oh, he has a Moon Pearl. Moon Pearl is on Armos Night. Ah, there we go. That's fine, I guess. It seems Lance has run into some technical difficulties. It's actually been here the whole time. We'll just see if we can get her back. Yeah, Dr. Bob is using the koi method of hairpot. There are a lot of different methods you can learn, and I think everybody just kind of learns one method, gets good at that method, and then uses it. A popular method in Overworld Glitches is spin speed hairpot, because you always have the boots. And there's a glove at the top of Tower of Hera. There's a lot of really good progression in the dungeons. What do you know? So now we're fully decked out for Dark World. Only thing we're really missing here is... I mean, we're missing some items for Go mode, like the flippers. We don't need the flippers. But we do need some way to get into Ice Palace. They can use the mirror to get in, but that's not in logic. So if their Go mode is access to Ice Palace, they'll be fine. The main ones are the Hammer and Ice Rod. And maybe a medallion for Misery Mire. So this is quite the open world for them to search for those things. Alright, DoctorBobtastic will be pulling that magic powder that Professor Render had to leave behind because he didn't have the Master Sword. Dr. Bob also considering that boomerang. Is it worth it? Not really. Just leave it. You have a hook shot, you'll be fine. It's not even the good boomerang. Oh, Professor Render has gotten lost in Dark Cross. That's unfortunate. He will be able to get a glove and enter from the back, so he'll be okay. Professor Render also opting not to skip the big key for Harapot. Probably again with that, I don't have the Moon Pearl yet, and there's 2 items up here and I don't want to skip one.
I believe I am back.
Yay, we are rejoined by Lance.
I'm sorry about that. I don't understand why Windows jumped onto the source it did.
Very
But the
weird.
important part is we're back.
We are back.
Windows gonna Windows.
Windows gonna Windows. We're just doing some steps retracing right now. We found a Moon Pearl in Eastern Palace on the boss. Professor Render has not been there yet, but is doing Tower of Hera, is gonna find a glove. I agree. Anybody who knows me in this tournament, I've kind of had this reputation of telling people that if you don't do Hera Basement now, you're never going to do it. So just do it now. Don't skip it. I've seen races lost to Ice Rod and Hera Basement. I think it's probably, if you have the Moon Pearl, it's probably safe to do Hera Basement, or to skip Hera Basement, when you don't know that both items aren't just on Moldorm and the other chest. Because then you can skip it entirely. But returning to that big chest with a Harapot is so much harder to convince yourself to do. It's such a long check that you're probably not going to do it ever. And that's another thing I have seen, you know, people, the very end of a race, looking for Ice Rod or Medallion or whatever, having to choose between that Hera Basement play and anything else, will almost always choose anything else. It's almost like going back into Left Side Swamp. It's just so awful to do. You just kind of want to do it now so you don't have to be faced with that decision. All right, we're in the Dark World now. DoctorBobtastic is going to East Death Mountain. He has the hook shot. He even has a glove. He can get in there easily.
So I returned in time to see also that Renderer pulled a glove out of Hera. Is the first glove more useful than the second in this
Oh
particular
yeah.
mode?
The second glove is something you almost don't want to see at all. The things that it unlocks are things you don't normally want to do. For example, the Smith Chain, Ice Palace. If flippers can lock Ice Palace logically because there's a clip you can do that requires them. The other item it might expect you to have is the mitts. And then if you're still looking for Moon Pearl, the glove also unlocks some pretty nasty locations that the Moon Pearl can be in, like Ice Palace.
Nothing important on the powder.
No, except for that cool clip we used to get into it.
Yeah.
That's another little screen wrap you can do. You just kind of clip into the wall there, you dash north, and it has you sort of juking the transition so that you hit it from the wrong side, scrolling you over so that you can just kind of jump into the hole without having to get the hammer out. Render is... Where is Renderer going? Oh, he's going to check Checkerboard Cave? Possibly. This is an interesting play. This is a one-off check he's doing here. He's still looking for the Moon Pearl, so he's somehow put off Eastern Palace for a very long time. Maybe not comfortable with that dark room. Yeah, Orange is saying that because they started with Sahasrara, Eastern Palace is less appealing than it normally would be. Ooh, we're getting a splash deletion here from Dr. Bob. So he descended to Zora. Well, he descended to Catfish and then mirrored to Zora and hasn't been here yet. So he's gonna... Oh, he hasn't fixed his index, has he? So, okay, so when you try to do these, you have to fix your slot index, either by hard resetting your console or by doing some spamming of objects on the screen. The reason that his index is messed up is because he fought Armos Knights. So he had to try a couple times to do that. Fake flipper, but he'll be able to do it here. He has the Moon Pearl to get himself that water walk you get when you have the Moon Pearl here. This is a very nice play. Doing Catfish Zora together with the Zora ledge, with a water walk even, which makes it a little bit faster than having flippers or just having to walk around.
Unfortunately, we already know that for all that work, he's not going to come up with anything.
Nope.
Zora just had some sticks for us.
So am I correct that Dr. Bob hasn't done South Shore yet? Because normally you do this after South Shore.
I don't believe he has, no.
I don't believe there's anything good there either. The one thing I see that Render has that Bob doesn't have is Ether.
I think that was in the dam, that Ether.
As long as he remembers to do it, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
There won't really be any of that fancy routing dam into Swamp thing, because Swamp's a pendant. You probably just go to South Shore before doing Pendant Swamp, right?
Yeah, one would hope.
DoctorBobtastic's getting a little bullied here. He's going to run back for a heal at the old man.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta make the boulders go away for a second and let them respawn.
Yeah, because they take some time to travel, so... So when you start, if you're like fast enough, you can even just outrun them. But once you've been on that screen for too long, they start really getting in your way. Alright, once more we're diverging. DoctorBobtastic is not going to East Death Mountain. He's going to descend Death Mountain over here. This looks like a normal Death Mountain descent. He's not set up to super jump. You clip off of here and you bonk north so you don't hard lock. Because if you just walk down, you'll hit the transition wrong and bad things will happen. He is remembering something. He has the mirror, and he can actually check Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, if he hasn't done so already. I forget which one skipped King's Tomb and which one skipped Graveyard Ledge.
I believe Bob did not do King's Tomb yet. Yeah,
Okay,
he's
you're right.
right now.
Render is the one who skipped Graveyard Ledge.
Yes.
The king's honorary rupee that he was buried with.
Yeah, that must be like engraved or something.
Yeah, it has his face on it.
Yeah.
It's a coin. It's a coin with his face, commemorative. There's two of them in the
Sorry
world.
you died. Here's a rupee with your face. You worked really hard on it. We hope you like it.
This screen is kind of awkward. I don't actually know what the best way is to navigate it. There's a lot of stuff in your way, so you can't just dash straight across. Nothing good on Bumper Ledge, so we won't be clipping up there either. Ooh, Render's health total is worrying me slightly, but there is a heart in this room. So if he's careful, he'll be fine.
All you need is a half. That's all you need.
Nothing here is gonna kill him. He's got red mail. He'll be fine.
Yeah, and there's a couple of hearts in here if he needs it.
Yeah, and he has silver arrows. He's just gonna wipe these out really quickly. So DoctorBobtastic's route through the Dark World is a pretty typical counterclockwise route. Start at the mountain, clip down, do Skullwoods, Bumper Ledge, go down to Thieves Town, hope you find a hammer before going in. But if you don't, you probably just clear it anyway, because you're here. Bob, you have the mirror.
Oh no.
Taking the scenic route out of that room. Maybe he'll pull it out now. Quick swap is enabled for these races. He's going to the back. That makes sense. You have the fire rod, it's a crystal, you do the back first. You can also check the pedestal for us, if he so inclines. Render has a fairy. He'll be fine. Okay, thank you for that, chat. As exciting as it is to watch you on one heart, or half a heart, it does feel better knowing you have a fairy.
Yeah, because you hate to see a death in the back of Eastern of all places.
Oh, that's an awful place to die. And then you just don't go back, because you're like, oh, I'll come back later, and it's the Moon Pearl, and you feel really bad. Oops. No, Dr. Bob. Well, assuming he also has a fairy, he'll probably be fine. Oh, we're in Ganon's Tower. I just looked away for a second. So, Professor Render is clipped into Ganon's Tower. All you need for that is the Moon Pearl.
The coloring completely caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I was like, is that Pod? And then I saw him bouncing off a torch.
So usually the rule for Tower of Hair, or for Ganon's Tower, because it is a lot of locations, it's not junk filled. They expect you to go in as soon as you can. The rule is if you can reach Iced Armos, it's usually a good idea to go in. Because he can get a lot of checks here. And oftentimes you'll just find like the hammer in here, locking the other side. How many times have we gone into Ganon's Tower and just found the Cane of Samaria and Hope Room, right? So if you put that off waiting till you can go mode it or full clear it, you can be in trouble. Meanwhile, DoctorBobtastic is just fighting for his life at Mothula here. He's got one heart, but he's good. He's got Mothula down. Didn't even need the bottle.
Dream.
This routing through Skullwoods, unfortunately, has not paid off. He still has to go into the front. This is just kind of a mean Skullwoods that makes you full clear it no matter what. Like, front to back it's almost certainly wrong. If you have the ability to fight Moth, you always go back to front. So it's kind of mean. Render does not have a key. He'll have to, yeah, don't save and quit. You mirror out, grab the key. on the left side. And then he'll be able to continue further. Normally you check the torch first. And if it's not a key, you grab that pot key so that you can guarantee access to the right side. So let's start talking about key logic. Because the
Key
game
logic always amazed me.
expects you to have a certain number of keys to go through this door. That key that Renderer picked up could be spent on this key to his left, and then he wouldn't be able to go through. So this is a hammer-locked right side, because there are keys on the hammer-locked side that the game expects you to have to open this door that he just opened, which means he's not going to find the hammer here. He can still find the ice rod, so it's not a waste of time. He still needs that big key as well. This is defeat Ganon goal. Alright, Dr. Bob's continuing down to Village of Outcasts. He's going to be facing that decision to orphan the big chest of Thieves Town if he doesn't find a hammer real soon. But given how few items we are from Go Mode, it's a little less concerning. There's only a couple things that can even be there that we need. The Meyer Medallion and the Ice Rod being the main ones.
And he just came up with the mitts, which in a normal seed would be kind of a jerk move. Also, actually, in normal seed that would be impossible to have mitts in GT.
Yeah, it's true. Even in low crystals, you're expected to have the mitts. This room is awful if you don't know how to do it. There is a trick you can use to load in the sprites properly so that they cycle favorably, and you can walk through here without taking damage. If you would like to learn how to do that, pop into our Discord and ask, and one of us will show you how.
Yeah, this whole like super tile of the right side is kind of my of the side is like my nemesis. It drives me nuts. I will always do given the choice, I will always do the left side before the right side.
So those mitts are hammer locked, which means we don't need to go into Ice Palace looking for a hammer unless we also find the flippers. So the flippers are something they really don't want to be seeing right now or ever, because swamp's dependent. Professor Render is playing it super safe here with the cape. This is a little scary. I don't know if he still has that fairy. He probably does. I don't think I saw him use it. Clutch full heal on the big chest. Very good.
Very nice. Very nice. Sometimes the game's got your back, but usually not.
I guess he could have fake powdered here if he really wanted to. Oh, he's gonna do it. Interesting. I'm not sure that saves time. You should probably just free Bob. Not that Bob. Maybe he wants to catch it. Ooh, very nice dodge of that spark. I don't think he should be concerned about his health here, because he's going to be going in here with silvers, and he's going to save and quit out, because he's not going to find the hammer. He's not going to be able to progress. The best thing you can hope to find is the big key. But on this equipment, I don't think it's really a good idea to climb the tower just yet. Given that it's logically hammer-locked as well, he's not going to find the hammer upstairs either.
Yeah, just a bunch of cash. So he's done here. Meanwhile, we got Dr. Bob heading into the back of Thieves Town.
Let's see if he's abandoning that ice rod in the big chest. It's always there.
Or the Meyer entry medallion.
Yeah. Interesting that Bob doesn't have any medallions right now, so he knows he's missing that. Nice, God Pixel. Wow.
Ooh.
He didn't even have to spend time lining it up. He just went there and went up. Very good.
Wonder if that was a YOLO.
It might have been. The God Pixel also requires favorable RNG from the enemies. Sometimes those little starfish blobs, they just get in your way. You can't really dash through them if they're oriented a certain way. They're just like really finicky. So you can get the pixel and still not be able to go all the way through the room. Render is now doing the same thing Dr. Bob was doing earlier. He's going to go up again, try to get this thing out of his way. I don't think that's the fastest way through the screen, but I might be wrong. Maybe Espeon will time it for us.
Espeon can always be counted on for the random timings.
Got a very nice textured Skullwoods here. We're still on that kind of mountain palette.
It looks fine. Looks normal.
Ooh, Espeon is timing this live for us.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice refill on that magic too. Very lucky.
Yeah, because then you don't have to go into that side room up here.
Yeah, and that side room has a chance to just despawn. If the Wall Master appears while you're trying to grab it and there's too many things on screen, that magic just won't appear. You'll be out of luck.
Wall Master can steal your girl and your magic.
Yep. Am I correct that the big key was not in GT? Like we didn't find it yet?
I believe so, yes.
Because it's quite possible that if DoctorBobtastic finds the Ice Rod and the medallion soon, that he can just go mode it. That is... Alright, it's not quite script, but he'll be okay. Professor Render is using some game knowledge here. The silver arrows actually one-shot the Gibdos, even though normal arrows don't do anything. So he can save a little magic here, killing them with silvers. DoctorBobtastic has completed Thieves Town. There's nothing in the big chest. We don't have a small key, so it's just locking its own small key. We don't have to worry about the Ice Rod being there. Once again, saving that magic by killing the Gibdo with the silver arrow. I'll have a bit of a safer Mothula fight, just having those extra hits of magic in his bar.
Yeah, I have learned something from the professor today. Thank you. I did not know that.
And one of the things Orange pointed out earlier, the reason they kind of wanted that boomerang was because boomerang, unlike the hookshot, actually does stun the Gibdos, making that middle room a little bit easier. And they hadn't found the Cane of Samaria yet, so they were still thinking about the possibility of having to do that just with good movement, which is very hard to do if you don't know how to do it. DoctorBobtastic is going to clip down the mire. He's going to check that medallion for us.
Mire looks fine.
Yeah, when you clip into Mire, the rain doesn't load in properly because it doesn't expect you to get there that way. So you just get this glitchy mess. If it bothers you, you can open your map to dispel it. It'll fix the rain. Entering the underworld will also fix the rain. Did I miss that medallion check?
He didn't look yet. I've been watching for it.
Dr. Bob. The suspense is killing me.
Ain't it?
The typical time to check that medallion is when you're about to enter Mire's shed. If you don't have the flippers, you can jump in the water, and then you'll have invincibility frames that you can use to dash through the sparks in Mire's shed. It was Ether. That's that's the one we have, and Render is giving us a pedestal check. Which I think
that's inside the dam.
I'm guessing Dr. Bob also checked ped, and we just missed it. It's nothing. I didn't see chat explode, so I'm guessing he checked it and it was nothing earlier as well.
Surrender is going to be in good shape once he gets down to Mire.
Yeah, and the ether just being in dam, it's accessible. And this is okay equipment for Meyer. The one thing you probably want to have before going in is the lamp. But with this being this close to go mode, you don't want to really count on the lamp anymore. You never really want to be in lamp go mode. That kind of feels bad because that lamp can be in some really stupid locations. DoctorBobtastic is checking Hype Cave. Let's see if he remembers to mirror and do South Shore. There's that lamp. All right. All he has to do is go to the damn ice
And
rod.
the ice rod.
We're in hammer go mode. Renderer gets to go mode Ganon's tower. He probably won't because he still needs that big key. So he'd go in with the hammer, and depending on which way he goes, he'll just have to look for the big key. But it can save us some things like an Ice Armos fight if he doesn't go right first. DoctorBobtastic is remembering the dam. That's very good. It's so easy to forget this.
Water.
Yeah. Not having the flippers yet, we don't even have to worry about swamp. The only thing it can really be is the hammer in the first chest. He must be so relieved that the next two progression items he finds are the medallion and the ice rod, and not the hammer. Hammer go mode is so much better than ice rod go mode or medallion go mode.
Ice rod, yeah, those two are the worst because they can be literally anywhere, except for like the coin obviously can't be inside Meyer, but that's the only thing you got.
Getting our third shield at the dam. You don't hear that very often.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. OtherTom is saying they didn't check ped. That's interesting because it's. I could see why because it's not in logic yet. Like we don't have the flippers, but it can lock the ice rod or the medallion. And at the time they were there, they didn't know that. They didn't have those locations yet, so maybe just a little bit of a time save. You say that, Tom, but we had a seed recently where we checked ped, and it was something. And our go mode was access to the pendant dungeons.
But the blind pull for the stream.
Yeah. Well, the blind pull doesn't mean anything when the other person checked it and we know it's there, right?
True.
I really want to see some conversions soon. There's still some checks that they have to kind of retrace for each other. One of them has not been to East Death Mountain yet. One of them still has to finish this Dark World loop. DoctorBobtastic going to... I'm trying to remember which one did Hobo Zora already. I think they both did. I think he's going to the Hobo, actually. Because he hasn't... neither of them has been to the Hobo yet.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, it looks like we're about to see it, though.
Yeah, Hobo is a Sphere 1 check. It's one of those that can kind of weigh on you if you don't check it for a while, because it's kind of a one-off. There's a couple different ways you can get there. There's 2 different fake flipper methods you can do from out of bounds. And then you can also just do this water walk here. The teaser medallion. Yeah, we don't need those anymore. The medallion can be logically required for the front of TR, but our runners don't need it. They can sequence break by going through the back or spending their keys wisely inside, not requiring that medallion to enter from the front.
So, I thought Dr. Bob was lining something up, but no, he was just headed for his portal.
Nope, that's a really smart portal placement. Not having the hammer means that he has to do a little bit of an extra clip to use this portal up here, but he just left his mirror portal there, so he can return to Meyer really quickly now. Probably doing South Shore, obviously needing that medallion first, but continuing on because he might find some safeties on the way, or he might find his go mode. This could be a very fast seed, or it could be a hammer and ice palace seed. We'll see. Depends on whether those flippers show up or not. We're hoping the flippers are just hammer locked somewhere, like in Ganna's Tower, for example. Ooh. You don't have the flippers. Okay, he's gonna go the long way around. Giving us an extra taste of that glitched rain here.
Darn those murder dactyls.
Now this kind of looks scary. We're on 2.5 hearts in Mire, but we do have quite a bit of safety behind us. We have the Cane of Burna for that spike chest. We have silvers for Vitreous. We have the lamp, so we'll be okay. Even the magic powder, being able to get a quick refill in here is super nice. There's a couple places where you can powder anti-fairies and bunny beams.
Oh yeah,
Hammer and... Go ahead.
Bringing powder into Mire is super, like... There's so many things to get fairies off of.
Yeah, Mire is one of my favorite places to have powder.
Like, even that last room before you go into the dark basement, there's 2 anti-fairies. There's a bunny beam under one of the skulls.
Mm-hmm. And there's one right before the boss, too. One right before the big chest.
Yeah.
There's so many of them in here. Professor Render is getting the news very soon that he can actually do Mire now. Let's see if he chooses to go in without that lamp or if he decides not to just yet. This is very interesting if he goes in. We could see 2 people in Mire at the same time. He's walking down to check that medallion. That's kind of a habit we should probably break people of because checking it right next to Mire Shed is much faster and you get those iframes for the spark dash. The ether in the glitch rain state is such an eyesore. Yeah. Especially with this bloody palette we've got going on here. Oh, we're going in. This is good. Got some safeties too. We got a fairy. We've got a blue potion. I think DoctorBobtastic has used his... Don't know if he's used his blue, but he's taking advantage of one of those many, many bunny beams and pots that you can find in Mire. Some good game knowledge here. Getting trolled by this fire snake, though. He's not going to be able to dash down. All right, we're getting some sweet convergence. Render still needs that ice rod, but it's just sitting in Hype Cave. We'll find it soon enough.
And we're going to grab the arena chest before we head into the firelock chests.
I imagine that the next place we go is probably TR. It's full clearable.
That would have been a good routing choice if we were go-moding Mire, but we're not because we're still hunting that hammer.
Yeah. But TR is the next crystal we have that we can actually do. We can go... There isn't really much left as far as dense overworld goes. So it's really just that or pendant dungeons. And Render could go into GT just to check if that hammer is not just in Hope Room, but that's a little bit risky because it's probably not there, and you're just clipping in just for 3 checks. The best he could hope for is that he goes to the right side and finds the big key, and doesn't really waste that much time.
I love it that blocks don't exist when they're moving.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that when someone comes into your stream and sees you do, when they know nothing about the game, they just see, hey, you're playing Link to the Past. I like that game. I enjoyed that game. I'm going to watch this person play it. And then they see you throw fire through blocks and they get so confused.
Well, part of that is that was patched out in US ROMs. That is a 1.0 exclusive glitch. Same goes for the mirror block erase. Oh yeah, Render is refilling his magic because he doesn't have the lamp to light torches, so he didn't actually have enough magic to do the torches without dipping into the slug room to get that pot. And I think he wants that full refill next. Was fire routing through blocks patched out? I'm actually not sure, Espion. I know the mirror block erase was, and I thought that those were the same thing, so maybe I'm wrong. Once again, comms being wrong on stream. I'm guilty of it too. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I have a Super Nintendo, but it's not hooked up to anything, so I can't test it. This Meyer, oh, that's a hammer. That's go mode for DoctorBobtastic. And that is very close to go mode for Render. He just has to head to Hype Cave and he'll be in go mode too. Very, very close race we have here. Everybody's done the same things. The one big difference is Render hasn't been to Ganon's Tower yet. So if he goes right first, he's going to lose a little bit of time looking for that big key. Kippy's thinking it wasn't patched out. Okay. I'm going to trust chat here that the block erase was patched out, but the fire routing through them wasn't.
Trusting Twitch chat. That's a bold move.
Oh, it's better than trust. It's better than trusting comms. Don't trust comms.
Yeah, that's true.
Comms are always wrong.
It's very true.
That's why Espion's here. He's making sure I don't say things that are wrong on Restream. Did I say the wrong person was in go mode? DoctorBobtastic is in go mode. Well, Render is in go mode now. Well, not in go mode, but he'll be in it very soon. He's thinking, oh god, it's an ice rod hunt, isn't it? Not knowing that that ice rod is just sitting there in Hype Cave. What a tease.
Yeah, with any luck, that's the next place he goes.
Sure. I mean, it's just a clip away. He just does Stumpy and then Hype Cave. Because where else do you go with that hammer, right? Ice Palace is actually still out of logic for Render, because, well, he has the hammer now, so it's in logic. But for DoctorBobtastic, he doesn't even have the mitts yet, so he has to mirror wrap to get to Ice Palace. Oh, I'm correct. Yeah, okay. Render is the one who went into Ganon's Tower. I can tell now because he has the mitts, and mitts were in GT. Which is very interesting because Dr. Bob is actually just a hair ahead in terms of dungeon clearing.
Yeah, so still kind of, sort of, more or less even.
Yeah. I mean, the big difference is Render still has to go to Hype Cave to get that ice rod. Oh, well on health, but he does have some backup in his bottles, so he'll be okay. He's doing Dark Mire. This is not an easy dungeon to do in the dark. A lot of people hate that switch room in the first room, but it is pretty consistent if you know what to do, but these next rooms can be very tricky. There's a lot of things that just Stalfos that can just walk around and hit you, and they're all RNG, so you don't know where they are all the time. You can't necessarily manipulate them. Yeah, IP is in logic for Render, not for Bob. So he's doing this from a save and quit. Very wise. If he hard locks on this mirror wrap, he'll be okay. He just has to try again. Won't lose any progress here. Render is getting slimed in the back of Mire. Getting that powder out, ready to do the anti-fairy. Hit the switch twice, I think. Got pegs in the wrong position.
I wonder if he was controlled a little bit by the pallet.
Yeah, he probably threw a pot at one and it hit the switch and didn't notice. Dr. Bob is clipping to the mirror location from this side. I'm not sure. I'm guessing he tried to clip from the other side and bounced down by accident. Yeah. If you do that little jump there, you can tap right to get back into that out of bounds area. You can do this in the light world too to get to Mini Moldworm Cave a little bit faster, but I think at this point you should probably just go around and try again from the other side.
So is Dr. Bob headed for Ice Palace here?
Yeah, this is Ice Palace. He's trying to do the mirror wrap, but he's clipping in from the other side, which is a little unusual. So you teleport here, you tap right to get... There you go. Snap back in there, and then you can teleport again here. Get onto that little plateau. Use the mirror on the same frame you transition there. So this is just a setup you learned. On the other side of here, there's a little ledge you can kind of just hook speed clip onto. You can also teleport onto it if you prefer teleports. It's quite a bit faster to do it from that direction. The thing that DoctorBobtastic's doing here is a good backup to know in case you accidentally jump off when you're on the other side. So he bombs himself onto the transition. He's going to hit that mirror on the same frame he transitions. There you go. Walk up a little bit, but not too far. If you walk too far up, you hard lock. If you don't walk up far enough, you soft lock. So you have to get onto just a few pixels of leeway here. I think this is good. He can transition now. Probably getting some mentor instruction here. The screen's a little messed up, but it'll be okay. Walk up a little bit. Find that Ice Palace entrance. He's actually inside of the Ice Palace building. He just has to find the stairs. Yeah. Alright. Oh, Renderer, you're doing Smith Chain. What's happening here? Maybe he wants to do yeah, maybe he wants to do Purple Chest and Hype Cave together. He does have the mirror and the flute, so he can do this really quickly. And it's an ice round hunt. It can be anywhere. Hype Cave is probably trash, right? Hype Cave is always trash. Maybe he'll find a sword. That'd be kind of cool. If he has the sword advantage, but is behind, this could be a very close race.
Huh. Yeah, this is a very CGA color palette. You're very right. Looking very Mega Man DOS, yes.
Wow, what did I say? Calm Curse. That's a vanilla sword on the Smith. He has tempered Renderer's sword, making this a very close race once again. Imagine doing an extra Smith chain actually being a time save in this run. DoctorBobtastic, if he doesn't find another sword in Ganon's tower, he's just gonna have a much slower Ganon fight. Master Sword Ganon sucks, no matter how good you are. Alright, Renderer is leaving that chest behind. Oh no, whatever will he do?
Oh no!
Oh no, he left the chest behind. This is actually a neat little efficiency route he's doing here. I think personally I would just do like flute mirror stuff. So he's going to run down to the purple chest man, but you can actually click down here as well. One of the benefits of this glitch that he's doing that I haven't really explained yet is that you can clip while having the purple chest, which you normally can't do. So what happens here is he mirrors on the same screen that the purple chest man is, and the purple chest man actually loads in differently because he doesn't know that you've lost the purple chest when you mirror. So the version of him that knows you have the purple chest loads in before the game realizes you don't actually have it.
Yeah, that's actually the furthest I've ever seen somebody mirror and successfully get that.
Oh, it's super generous. You don't have to be on him.
Next to him.
You don't have to be on him. You just have to be like on the same screen. It's super, super free. In Overworld Glitches, you actually click down to him from above, and you can drop right on top of him and mirror. All right, this is go mode for Render. Even a free lamp, which probably stings a little after doing Darkmire. But can't feel bad about that sword. That was a very good prize to find on an extra Smith check. Look at this. He's like, oh, oh, this is risky. Okay, no, this is not risky. He's just gonna swim to Ice Palace. I was getting a little worried for a second. I thought you were gonna mirror wrap. So he doesn't have the flippers, so he has to fake flipper here, which isn't logic. Game does expect you to use minor glitches in the overworld as well as major glitches.
Oh, he's doing the classic fake flipper.
Yeah, like just
without the bomb lineup.
Just sword buffer yourself to the edge and YOLO it. Much safer than doing the mirror wrap. Probably not even that much slower.
Yeah, transitioning in the water, transitioning at the same time as you enter the water, the game has no idea that you don't have flippers.
Yeah, well, what's interesting about it is actually the same mechanism as splash deletion. The splash is what tells the game you don't have the flippers. So if you transition before that splash has a chance to spawn, you'll get a fake flipper, just like you do if you delete the splash with Ancilla fake flippers. All right, we got 2 people in Ice Palace. Render just a hair behind, but having that sword advantage. Also having that already cleared part of GT advantage. So if Dr. Bob decides to go Dark Magician or full right, he's going to lose a little bit of time to render.
Icebreaker his way down.
Yeah, render or SB on the chat is pointing out also that the fake flipper is probably faster if you're not like optimized at mirror wrap. So if your mirror wrap is slow and it's going to take you some like mentor guidance and multiple tries to do, might as well just go in with the mitts. All right, render is going to do an icebreaker here. This is a glitch called door state extension, where the game thinks you're still in the door, so it moves you weirdly, using that block to just clip right through the wall. That is allowed in No Glitches Randomizer, even if it looks kind of funky. So despite being indoors, we are allowed to do it here. DoctorBobtastic is turning in the mushroom. What does he think he needs?
Yeah, he's got all the safeties in the world.
I'm thinking he wants potions, and he's just doing this because it's there.
Could be.
So he's probably looking for a sword, because he's on Master Sword, and he's going to be go-moding Ganon's Tower and TR, and probably doesn't expect to find a sword. So this, mushroom check, he's just right there. He's going to be entering the Witch Hut anyway to buy potions. Might as well check it, right?
Yeah.
All right, and then Render's got a slightly less scary fight against Cold Stare. He's got the Tempered Sword. Red Mail, he'll be fine. DoctorBobtastic is climbing the mountain. His NMG brain is on right now. I think his mentor probably just told him, wait, what are you doing? This is Overworld Glitches. And he said, oh, I'm already here. Might as well keep climbing, right? All right, so we're climbing TR now. We'll see if DoctorBobtastic knows the mirror wrap. You can go in through the middle as well, just by clipping into that bridge. But the mirror wrap is the fastest way to do PR in almost all situations, but definitely in go mode. All right, this is potentially some mentor instruction here. Getting these specific inputs that put you on the exact pixel to do the mirror wrap. There you go.
And kind of stair-stepping his way up the mountain.
Yeah, you do. So normally you just kind of wiggle your way up and it'll put you on the bridge, but you can see that he snapped into this position here, and this position is perfect for mirror wrapping. It's the correct X and Y coordinate to just walk across the transition, hold up, and drop down into that ledge. He just has to hit those buttons at the same time, which is not easy to do. All right, walk into that transition, hit it from the wrong side, and it moves you over an extra half a screen. This actually puts him on that middle land bridge thing that connects the 2 sides of Turtle Rock, and he holds up to jump out of it, landing on Laser Bridge ledge.
So from here, he can just go straight to Trinex.
Render has also chosen to make a pit stop at the Witch, not turning in that mushroom because he already has a sword. He doesn't need any more items here. But he's going to pick up some potions for safety.
There's that small key he needed.
Very close race. He is just a hair behind. but also not really behind because of that sword. He has gone up the fun way by clipping into Tower of Hera, walking in to correct his camera. So the thing with Go Mode TR is you still need that big key. And because this mirror wrap is not in logic, the big key can't be back here. So he's going to do Laser Bridge just to find a small key so that he can continue to the front and still have a key for try next. When they find that big key, they're just going to mirror back to Laser Bridge. And that's why the mirror wrap is so much faster. It's because you can just do that. Mirror right back to try next when you find that big key.
Yeah, he can steal that key from the pokey to get his way to the front.
Very clean mirror wrap from Render. First try, hold up, drop down. And now we're about to open our first chest that can have the big key. Oh, was it not the first try? Ah, well, let's pretend it was. It looked very clean. It wasn't a mirror bonk. A little transition here and there, it doesn't hurt. Mirror bonk is quite a bit slower. Using the cape when you have the mirror shield. Your mentor just yelling at you to use the mirror shield. Oops. Alright, we got some chain chomps. Let's see if that's our big key. Nope. So we have to go to the front. Now, if this next chest is the big key, we're actually going to have to keep going to find another small key. Because we have 0 right now. We're going to get one here and spend it immediately. The worst thing that can happen is Bob finds a big key and mirrors out before finding a small key. But hopefully his... Oh, I see what he's doing. He's going here first because he knows that there's going to be a small key here. Even if he doesn't find a big... Even if the other one is the big key, he has to go here anyway to get that small key. So this is a very good heads-up play.
Yeah, I was just poking through those possibilities in my brain. I was like, yeah, there's no way to avoid you doing this room.
Yeah. And you just find the big key here and the small key and you just mirror out. You don't have to do the other room at all. So worst case scenario, you just do the same 2 rooms but in the other order because the other one is the big key. I don't think I've ever actually seen a key layout where I had to do this. Small key, big key. Perfect.
There we go.
I think he's contemplating the death warp here. Does he have that fairy though? Oh, he's walking out. Don't walk out. I know there's a full magic in there, but there's also a full on the way to try next. He's gonna take a death heal in this room. Oh no. He's just gonna take a fall.
Oops.
Oops. This is actually kind of a difficult fight. Master Sword, Hammer, try next. With no half magic. He's probably gonna drink a blue potion at some point. But you don't have to. If you have good hammers, you can avoid that blue potion drink. Render is getting that small key. Minor time loss here, doing this room first.
Menu, try next.
Yep. This is not an easy fight. With both Trinex and the heads moving around. Very hard to hit these heads. And having to menu while you're hammering so that you can use that hammer. Because you can't menu while the heads are exploding. So you have to like menu while your hammer is out, which is very tight. Keeping your cool though. I think he's gonna have to drink a potion to get enough health or magic back. Let's see. Nope, he got the hit. Very good. Sometimes you get the extra damage from the fire rod shot on the ice head.
Yeah, if that were me, I would have just drank the potion and then just spam fire rod to win.
I mean, it's worth a shot, right? Fire a thing, and if you run out of magic, then no big deal. Render also on 2 hearts. Nice full magic refill here, though. It's gonna grab some anti-fairy juice here.
Free magic juice. Too.
Yeah.
Let him out! The game won't let him out.
Nope. I'm not sure where he's going. I think he's just gonna walk to Ganon's tower. Is he gonna open it and make Espeon cry? Because it's probably faster to just save and quit and GT clip, because that's what you do in the speed run. After doing try next, you save and quit. And when I say the speed run, I mean the all dungeons, restricted major glitches. He's going to open it from the front. This is slower. There's like exactly one scenario where you open GT and it's you found Go Mode and Hookshot Cave. Espeon timed that for us. Cover your eyes, Espeon, says Orange. I like that he's doing this just to troll him. He's key smashing in chat. This is so good. Espeon hates seeing the crystals on screen. Dear God, he's opening it. Render is going to gain a little time on Dr. Bob just by not trolling Espeon with that GT clip. Look at that. God, GT. They did have the big key. Okay. So they just chose not to climb because they had because it was out of logic. All right. Where are you going, Bob? Looking for a sword, maybe? This is 4 checks here. Hail Mary sword. We don't know that it's not a sword here. It can be.
Yeah, that would be a
very, very interesting race if this was a sword. I personally wouldn't make this play just because there's usually a whole bunch of small keys in this room. Yeah, he was doing a sword Hail Mary. All right, so Render is ahead now. He is climbing Ganon's tower with the Tempered Sword. Dr. Bob has Master Sword. His saving grace is going to be finding a Tempered Sword up here in the climb. I can't believe doing that extra Smith play is going to be the difference.
Ugh, those BMOs are the worst.
Yeah.
If you stay in this room the second room here is too long, you're just screwed. You just die. It's like there's an unofficial timer in that room.
Well, what happens in that room is when you first enter it, the BMOs aren't going to fire at you while you have while you have arrows on the screen, because there's just too many things on screen at once for their shots to fire. But once you've killed that first mimic, suddenly the BMOs can have at you as much as they want. So you really want to kill the first mimic and the second mimic quickly in succession. Both of them are on low health, but I think they also both have fairies, so they'll be okay. That fairy has been a big player in the seed. Just having it, making us be able to play more aggressively. Go just a little bit faster, not having to worry about our health.
Yeah, he's going to powder this.
The
funny beam.
He's not going to be able to get that Silver's kill, so he's just going to do spins here. No half magic, so no fire rod. Dr. Bob is using that fairy now. barrier revivals are pretty slow. So you lose a little time doing that compared to like drinking the potion from a quick swap.
Just the necessities for renderer.
Also powdering that fairy.
Yeah. First he had to set it on fire, just to make sure it didn't move.
There you go. Lots of wow. That's a very good like Lambos all going. Yeah, they all going towards each other. Yeah, not having that tempered sword. You want to use your fire on here. You can just drink the blue potion to get his magic back in the next rooms, or use the lamp. Espion says everybody needs to stop picking up that heart. Yeah, these next rooms aren't that dangerous, so picking up the heart is usually just a time loss.
Renderer going through that room the dangerous way.
Well, it's safe in the sense that you get the magic refill and also you don't get jingle glitch. Because you kind of waste a little time doing that, but wasting time means that the jingle happens before you transition.
I just mean that. I just mean that hugging that north wall, hugging the upper wall, is a bit safer because the laser can't get you.
The laser can't get you if you're
hugging the laser.
Yeah, if you're hugging the pot, the laser also can't get you. So you line yourself up on the pot, pick up the pot, and if you stand there, you'll collect the heart. You don't have to move towards the heart. You just have to wait. And then you can walk straight across and do the same with the magic and never get hit by the laser.
Ah, okay.
It's a lot safer than it looks.
Last chest gets us some explosives.
Flippers.
Oh, there's those flippers.
That's actually really good. The flippers were hammer locked. So Ice Palace was never going to have the hammer in the seed. Both the flippers and the mitts were hammer locked. Very nice seed. Doesn't even tempt you with anything you don't want to do. Just says, go to your crystals.
Got some surprises on the pop geometry quiz for renderer here. Obviously, that's not the professor's strong suit. That's not his specialty.
Well, he teaches interior design rendering. Everybody knows that.
Ah.
That's what my dad teaches.
That door's not going to let you out, renderer. Sorry to say.
I am actually very curious what kind of rendering you teach. Ganon asking the professor if he thinks he's so smart. He's gonna ask the doctor the same thing. What a smart aleck.
Ain't it?
Alright, Render is on Ganon. He has to fall behind. Because DoctorBobtastic's still doing that Master Sword fight. No Hail Mary sword upstairs. Just a Hail Mary flippers for the humor.
Yeah, this is down to the wire.
Yeah, well, this is Render's race to lose. He has to die or fall to Ganon. Because he's already on phase 3. Phase 4 is going to be 4 silver arrows to the face. Meanwhile, DoctorBobtastic has to do all these spins to get Ganon down. He does have the good pattern, though, which is good. Oh, no, he doesn't. He's still on phase 1. You can really see that time difference between having Tempered and having Master in this fight.
Definitely. Master Sword Ganon is just the worst.
It is the worst. Renderer is playing it super safe, drinking that blue potion. He knows his opponent hasn't finished yet. He doesn't want to lose to a Ganon fall. And that's a GG for Renderer. Ganon's dead.
Hey.
Very close race. We got 2 people at Ganon at the same time. That's always nice to see. And I do believe we have the second closest race of this tournament so far. The first closest race also being in week 4. When you get Swiss week 4, everybody here is kind of paired with somebody who has a similar win record, meaning that you get a lot more close races than you do in, say, week 1 or week 2.
And the Mega Man memeing continues for Renderer. From the Mega Man DOS color scheme to the ending the domination of Dr. Wily. So GG's for Renderer, and Dr. Bob will be right behind him shortly.
One more silver hit. Nope. One more now. The hardest part of doing Silver's Master Sword is to remember not to do Silverless. GG to DoctorBobtastic. Just 1 minute behind Professor Renderer. Very close race.
GG.
Both runners just going to the right places at the right times. Main difference being Renderer making that pit stop at the Smith to get that Tempered Sword. All right, would either of you mentors or racers like to join us in interview and tell us your thoughts about this seed if you haven't done so already in chat?
Minute 15-second difference. Gotta love a close race.
All right, and we are joined by Professor Renderer live in voice chat. How did you feel going up GT?
I felt confident. I feel like I did okay on the climb. It's a lot of the gauntlet was kind of sloppy. I had to change up my patterns on the Lambo 2 fight by patterning, but after I finished, all I just did was just an arm, fist with a fist in it. It said, "Well, there you go."
Yeah.
Just don't get sniped and then just go through.
Did you feel ahead when you found that Tempered Sword? Did you know that your opponent probably didn't find that?
Yeah, I felt ahead. Just the sheer fact that just sword advantage alone is so good, straight up.
Yeah, and at the time you found it, you didn't have the ice rod, so you probably didn't know that it wasn't just going to be a gigantic hunt. But once you find that ice rod, right, you know, oh wait, sword.
Yeah, and it's really good that me and Orange decided to do the Smith chain once we finished up Meyer, because hadn't we done it, it just turned out to be that, well, in the end, we didn't spend a whole lot of time just looking for another sword elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The fact that we got our Moon Pearl.
The fact that you got your Moon Pearl late.
Yeah, the moon pearl. So I mentioned this in the chat, but uh, the reason why I went ahead and did the uh we got the moon pearl late and how it actually turned out being good in the end is because we didn't really need to go to East Step Mountain. Period.
Oh,
We didn't
you
need to
didn't do
go to
East
East
Step
Step.
Mountain at all? I know you didn't do
No, not
Hookshot
East Step.
Cave.
I meant not East Step Mountain, but like Dark Death Mountain.
That makes sense. Yeah, you never went to Hookshot Cave or any of those places. You didn't do Catfish into Zora. You just did Catfish and did Zora separately. Or skipped Catfish, I meant. You got to go mode TR. Got to skip all the pendant dungeons except Front of Desert.
Yeah, which was generous because it ended up being two crystals hit the two items ended up in the front, so we never had to kill wild ammo. So
Mm-hmm.
which
So what?
it's just nice. Just
Yeah. So was your decision to go to the Smiths because you thought this was going to be a full cleary ice rod hunt and you wanted to do it efficiently, or was there some other rationale?
was because of the Oswald hunt.
Yeah. Same. I would have done probably the same thing. Maybe done the Smith chain separately with the flute and mitts, or the flute and mirror, but what you did was pretty efficient. Routing that into Hype Cave was very good.
Yeah, after you found that hammer, we were sitting. Well, yeah, you heard us sitting here yelling at you to go to Hype Cave.
Yeah,
like, just go get it. Just go get it. It's right there.
Yeah,
it's right there.
About our routing, the good thing about our routing was just that even though it was kind of cloud routing near the starts, it lined up perfect. It lined up really well for us, and it all about that. Just that ice rod was in a nice position, and we got our lamp just for good measure for Turtle Rock. I felt confident in the Mire one. I didn't really get burned by the fact that I didn't need to do a Dark Mire. I was like, it did more. It's just like I apologize for you having to do a Dark Mire. So I was like, oh no, I got this. I got us covered. So,
and you did. You saved clown routing, but DoctorBobtastic did Dam after Hype Cave. So, it's Overworld Glitches. That just happens. The sphere one is so freaking big that you can skip things very easily and come back to them later, and it's not even a big deal. The really interesting play is seeing that sub 10-minute Uncle Check. A very rare sight in Overworld Glitches. But when you get the mirror that early, you just do it, right?
Yeah. And I've already mentioned this in the chat. We had a bit of confusion because it was either you. We didn't know that. Like, I thought you were mentioning something about going to the castle first, then doing the Pyramid Fairy, and then doing the Uncle.
Yeah. So what happens is you do. It doesn't really matter what order you do it. You do the Uncle before escape, but doing the pyramid last is something you do if your intention is to continue into the Dark World afterwards, because then you're not doing an extra mirror portal transition. So if you're doing, let's say, Pyramid Fairy into Pod and doing escape on the way, you do the escape first. That way you can just walk to Pod afterward and not have to mirror back. But if you're in there and you don't have the Moon Pearl yet, you're just doing those checks. It doesn't matter what order you do them in. My personal route is to do Pyramid Fairy and then check the ledge item. And if the ledge item is something good, I go to Uncle from that direction. And if not, I just go to Uncle from the normal direction and then do the escape afterwards.
Huh. Interesting. And I mentioned this to I met her a bit later on, but I mentioned that my menu time is kind of a bit on the high side. But that's something I kind of wish it was just I didn't have to do. But I'm really happy about the 139 collection rate just because of how nice everything came together.
It was very nice. You didn't get tempted by Pendant Pod from Catfish, which is a very easy thing to do if you're looking for Hammer. You see your go mode is Hammer and Medallion and Ice Rod. You don't expect it to be a Jet Seed when you see that. So going Mountain to Catfish into Pod is a very reasonable play in that situation. There was nothing stopping the Hammer from just being in Pod, right? Or the Ice Rod or I think you had Ether already, but you didn't know that medallion from Meyer, and you didn't have any other medallion at the time.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm kind of wondering where that fourth sword is, but it's probably just in Swamp because there's always a sword in Swamp.
Yeah. You had to
It had
climb
to be one of
Gan's
the
tower
Penta
to get it.
dungeons.
Yeah. You guys cleared that overworld so efficiently. You got almost all the checks between you. I'm trying to think if there's any overworld that you didn't do. One of you didn't do. I can't think of any.
Spike Cave?
Yeah, you didn't do Spike Cave because Hammer. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And
Hammer
also
Pig
Mimic
as well.
Cave, but for obvious
Hammer
reasons.
Pigs, Mimic Cave, yeah, the Hammerlock locations. But everything else was checked. It was really
Hammer
just those
Pigs.
pendant dungeons.
Oh no, Renderer
Yeah.
did hammer pegs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
he
did.
would have done it with the sword, right?
Yeah,
he would
'cause
have done it with the sword.
I got the heart from it, and then I did it all my switching.
Yeah, because he hadn't found Ice Rod yet.
Yeah, it was a minute 15-second difference. I feel really feel happy about it. Dr. Bob, after we talked about it, said he didn't feel too bad about it, and it's really nice. It's nice to go 500 out of this Swiss and forge a winning record for mentoring.
I'm correct that you're a 2-2 on Swiss.
Yes.
So there's some pretty scary opponents you might be facing. These are the other 2-2 records so far. I believe I have Walther and Don Fenyer as 2-2s. I'm not sure if we have any others yet that are for sure. But how do you feel about the potential of facing them next round?
So as long as I keep my cool and I don't have to resort to just looking up even the map and such, I should be okay. Especially now that considering the training wheels are off now.
Yeah.
all
Oh, yeah. You're
the
going
wheels are off.
mentored and unsorted as well. No sword in the start. You might have to change up your opening route a little bit. We have a week to prepare for brackets week 1 with some async seeds that you can try out. A brand new batch of async seeds has been released. It's going to be the first of many. Each month there will be 10 seeds of varying logics that you can try out. And this week we have a little bit more than we have a little bit more of the randomized swords just so that you guys can practice that.
Yeah, I just want to give shout outs to everybody handling this VODcast today. We have our runners, of course, Renderer and Dr. Bob, and their mentors, Orange and OtherTom. I am, of course, Lance. I can be found at twitch.tv, Lance the Ugly Androgine, and Malmo is my lovely co-com with Super Malmo World. And thanks to Kippy for the restream. For getting put together.
Thanks for the comms and the podcast. It was definitely a fun one to watch, and just we were talking about this earlier. Like we were talking about this before the race even, like before the match even became. It was just the Battle of the Academics, and it was probably the best name for it ever. And I actually put it in my title for the podcast, for the mod. And
yeah, and also the podcast itself, Go Mode Podcast, is sponsoring this tournament, giving us the platform we need to run it. They've been also very great help, having run mentor tournaments before, giving us the guidance we need to run this tournament. So be sure to check out the podcast. They talk about all things A Link to the Past randomizer, including things like how to play the game, new ways you wouldn't have thought of before.
And
I highly encourage you guys to watch to listen to the podcast. The podcast. Yeah. But it's a good read, and it actually got me into racing as a whole.
I see why people were excited to see this one get his turn in the sun, because people were excited talking about it last night, and I see why. Gotta love a close race. And hopefully you guys will be joining us in roughly an hour, a little bit more, for our next one.
MM2 NES cartridge versus Syneth is happening very soon. We're still looking for commentators, so if you'd like to join us, please give us a shout in Discord, and we'll add you to the booth.
We'd love to have you in the booth. All right, I gotta get going. I might need to make some lunch, and GGs to Dr. Bob and OtherTom, and thanks to Orange and pretty much everyone that I had mentors for throughout this entire tournament, just to help me and do the best I can in Overworld Glitches. And take it easy.
All right. Good night, everyone. Good morning, whatever it is. We'll be seeing you later.
Have a good rest of your day and Happy New Year, everybody.